Alright, what's up guys? My name is Patrick and today I'm doing kind of a different video. This is going to be about tech, specifically an ADD versus an A6300 and why I'm switching to the ADD. So I'm actually filming on the A6300 right now and I'm going to kind of do like a little unboxing and then explain why I'm switching to the ADD, because I've used the A6300 for about a year and a half, and mainly it's been for YouTube, but also I've done some professional work for internships, doing photography with cars on track and whatnot like that. So yeah, I think without further ado, let's get into unboxing a lot of boxes, and yeah, this will be a fun video. Oh yes. Okay, so here we are. Alright, so it's time. Got a little charger, that's good. Battery, that's good as well. Got an actual neck strap. Believe it or not, I've never had one of these, which is funny because I'm hanging my camera outside of cars a lot, but I've never used one. So, that's nice. Alright, and here we go. So I chose to just get the actual body of the camera without any lenses. Alright, here we are. Wow. Okay, this is pretty crazy. This is a lot bigger than I thought it was going to be. That's... Oh my goodness gracious. This is amazing right here. Alright, so I got a couple different lenses. So I have a Canon 50mm at f1.8. So this is it's a crazy cheap lens. I think it was 120 bucks. I'll have all of the actual everything listed below if you guys are like interested in looking at this setup. It's like all plastic, but honestly it's fine. Build quality isn't that important to me. As long as it doesn't explode when I use it, I'm alright with it. This is an actual kit lens that is used for the ADD. So this is 18 to 135, and the biggest thing that, why I got this is because it actually has stabilization, which is super important because I'll talk about this later, but this camera doesn't have in-body stabilization, so lens stabilization is very important. So also I got a 24mm at f2.8. There is my my setup. I have quite a lot. I'll show you a little closer look. All right, yeah. So this is the new setup. We've got the kit lens right here. This guy's actually pretty big. This is the 50mm. Pretty nice. It's all plastic. It's kind of crazy. And then we got the 24mm. And then we have the actual body of the camera, which is absolutely gigantic. I'm not used to having such a huge body, but it feels really nice. Okay, so I am going to play around with this camera and set it up, and then we're actually going to switch cameras so I can talk about the A6300 and why I'm switching to a camera that's kind of the same price point-ish. So, yeah. Hopefully I can figure this out. Okay, so hopefully it's looking pretty decent. This is actually the Canon ADD recording now. So I'm actually using the kit lens, that's the 18 to 135. So I'm not expecting anything like super sharp, or, the background isn't really going to be blurred out or anything, but hopefully it looks decent. So I'm going to talk about the A6300 and some things that I don't really like about it, and essentially why I'm switching to the Canon ADD. Also, if you're wondering what this lens is, it's a Sigma 16mm at f1.4. It's a pretty solid lens. Yeah, it's like $400, $460 I think. So it's kind of unfair to compare the lenses because that's like maybe $200 I think. But anyway, we'll talk about the A6300. Alright, so I've used this for a little over a year, and I've mainly used it for like YouTube, but also for doing some internship work for photography mainly. I'm going to talk about some things that I've kind of learned while using this camera that aren't necessarily great. So for number one, the flip out screen. Sony only has this screen that doesn't really help. for setting up shots, which kind of sucks. And I get that if you're not like filming yourself, it doesn't really matter. But for those of you who are, it kind of hurts not having a flip out screen. And like there are workarounds, like you can get an external monitor if you want, but like that kind of ruins how small the camera is. So it's just kind of a bad, thing that there's no flip out screen. So another thing that I kind of hate are the batteries. These things are tiny. They're so small compared to the ADD batteries. Like they just do not have a lot of battery life, and that kind of sucks, especially when you're out shooting for like really long periods of time. You're always switching batteries, which kind of sucks, but plus side, they charge really quickly, so that's kind of good. So one thing that's kind of like a hit or miss are the lenses. So Sony E-mount is a great thing. I love the fact that they work with all of their camera lines. It's awesome. The issue is that they're really expensive. Whereas this 50mm at f1.8 was $120. That's pretty crazy. And granted, it's plastic, but still, it's so cheap. And I think the Sony 50mm, I'll put the price on the screen, but it's a lot more. Just know that. So another thing that is kind of good and or bad, it's like a double-edged sword, is the fact that the camera is so small. Like look at the body of this. It's so small. And that's good because it stays nice and light, but also it's kind of uncomfortable to hold. It's not very ergonomic, if that's a good word. Another quick thing, this screen sucks. It's really, really bad. You can't see in any bright light. It's just not good. So that's where the viewfinder comes in handy, but yeah, screen is no good. So one thing that I've only actually experienced once was the overheating. Now, I don't shoot my videos in 4K because I don't see the point. Most people don't have 4K monitors, and in my opinion, it just hasn't caught up yet. But when you shoot in 4K, the camera actually overheats, and that's kind of a pretty common issue with these tiny cameras that, again, it's a small body, so they don't have great thermals, and it overheats. It actually overheated for me when I was shooting in 1080p one summer. Granted, I was outside and it was really hot, but it's not very fun when your camera overheats and you're carrying a gimbal and you're out in the middle of nowhere filming cars. It's not very fun. So I'm going to go ahead and swap back to the Sony so I can talk about the Canon 80D. Okay, so now I'm recording on the A6300, and again, the image is probably going to look better on that one simply because that's like a $400 or $500 lens on that, so it's going to look better. Alright, so now I'm going to talk about some reasons why I ended up buying the Canon 80D. So first things first, I'm going to run through this really quickly. Flip out screen, I already stated why. It's just awesome. Huge, huge, huge batteries. The battery life is going to be a lot better on the Canon, which I appreciate. So this camera, as I said, it's huge, a lot bigger than a mirrorless, a lot bigger than the A6300. It just has a lot more features. Features like the mic as well as the headphone port. You can actually monitor audio with this camera, which is amazing. I am going to definitely be using that. Features such as an actual display just reading out your settings. Also, the screen is touchscreen. I don't know if I mentioned that. This one isn't really like a scientific reason, but it just feels better to hold in the hands. It's bigger, it really wraps around your hand, and it feels nice. Also, super tiny pro of this camera. It has an actual time-lapse feature like built in from Canon. The Sonys do, however, you have to buy it, and it's really bad. It takes so long to load, and it's just kind of a slow app for it. And it's kind of it's not very good. I don't know why they charge you $10 for a time-lapse app when the Canon has it for free. So some issues with this camera. Number one, I already know this is going to be a very bad thing. It doesn't have in-body stabilization. Now the Sony doesn't have it either, so I'm not really trading off too much, but it sucks. That's just the way it works. You need image stabilization in lens if you want to have any sort of like handheld shot look at least somewhat decent. So as far as any other negatives with this camera, I'm probably going to realize them in the coming weeks of learning how to use this. But for right now, this thing seems awesome to me. I'm going to end the video here. Thank you so much for watching. If you have any questions, just put them in the comments below. Again, this isn't like some super technical review. This is just a super easy why I'm switching video. I'm not trying to do like a review or anything. Just kind of stating my opinion from a amateur perspective. So hopefully this was helpful to some of you. And yeah, have a good one.